Hey, troops, it's Roy from the Geeks Avengers. Woohoo! Broadcasting from the Clintonville section of Columbus, Ohio. So right now, Lovecraft Country is into its third week, and I'm a bad Lovecraft fan and horror geek because I haven't seen episode 2 yet. Sorry. Oh, I gotta catch up, alright? It's a good thing it's only an hour each, and it's only, 10 episodes? 10 episodes, I think, something like that. Anyway, so I kind of wandered into my local comic book shop, just to look at stuff, and found a cool book. It's an illustrated version of the Call of Cthulhu, by H.P. Lovecraft, of course, with art by Francois Berenger. And you're going right now, how many copies of Call of Cthulhu do you need? Bear with me, all right? There are a bajillion versions of the story out there with illustration. Comic book versions, etc., etc., etc. I've got a couple, all really cool, very, very a good chance to see how people interpret the incredible insanity of the story. So now I actually like looking at these just to kind of see, well, where are these, where are they going with stuff, and go, okay, that's kind of cool, or all right, or go, the hell, man. So you're going, okay, what's your point? What's the big deal with this one? Well, Francois Berenger, he's a concept illustrator. He's done work for H.P. Lovecraft, Beauty and the Beast, and also video games, Heavy Rain, and Beyond Two Souls. And you're still going, what's your point? Here's the point. It's a big book. And I guess the other thing to keep in mind is that, since he is a concept illustrator, the book's fun. Call of Cthulhu starts slow. It's the classic, my great uncle died, kind of weird circumstances, and I got stuck digging through his stuff and went, dude, man, what the heck? And the story kind of starts that way, really, really kind of slow. Just kind of moody, dark place. Oh, that moment of, why'd you keep this? Why? Ew, junk, no. And although as he starts digging more, realizes that maybe my great uncle had a point. As it discovers that interested in very arcane, ancient belief systems and all sorts of other weird stuff that under normal circumstances you go, wow, watching too many episodes of Ancient Aliens, huh? Until you start reading more and more and start to go, maybe he had a point. And as the story progresses further, just as things, you get a little more in depth, and we suddenly start to realize that there's a lot more junk going on. Illustrations get a little bit deeper as the nephew starts to investigate further. He talks with a investigator in Louisiana who's talking about a cult with really bizarre things, and that's when things start to get epic and creepy and macabre as heck. As the police department goes into the depths of the swamp of Louisiana, and they discover the cult. And things get epic really fast. And that's where you get to see the power of Berenger's art. One of the challenges is that, there's always that question of scale, this giant godlike being, blah 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 blah. It's like that line from The Princess Bride, inconceivable, do not think that word means what you think it means. To have that word tossed around is really easy. The nice thing about having an artist like this at work is that you have a sense of scale. Um, as the nephew investigates further, and all of a sudden the realization that one, oh great, my uncle was onto something. Oh great. And number two, what he was onto was something inconceivable. Stories of a being from across time and space. God and Satan ain't got nothing on this thing. Yes, I said it. God and Satan care about humanity. These things don't. We're just in the way. Go away. That is what we are. They don't care. Part of the whole thing with H.P. Lovecraft. Blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so as he investigates further, he discovers that there's talk of this, where this being, this omnipotent, omniscient, demonic thing has been locked up into the South Pacific Island, and yada, yada, yada. And he gets more stories about where this thing is and the fact that someone's seen it. And this is the first thing those guys saw. Ship was in the wrong place at the wrong time and ran into the dreaded hiding place, lock place, whatever, of Cthulhu. And from there, things get wacky from there. Remember what I said about sense of scale. You talk about Cthulhu, always comparisons to Godzilla, yada, yada, yada. Of course, because, hey, Godzilla, you get a sense, it's a frame of reference. So how big, and the idea that, this city where it is being imprisoned, how massive it is and everything. So we get to see, of course, guys on the ship gotta go, what's going on? I love the picture at the bottom. Here. See? They're walking on steps that are 12 feet tall. And eventually, of course, just like in Jaws, if you're going to go through all this, you need the payoff. And wakey, wakey. And again, scale. Look at the folks at the bottom, man. One of the things when you read a lot of Lovecraft's work, the idea that there are worse things than dying. In these stories here, it's about that. And actually, even in the video, in the RPG Call of Cthulhu, you got one of these stats to keep track of is madness. Yeah, I think if you saw something that big, you'd lose your mind. More ideas of scale. What happens is that the one sailor who passes on the account does eventually escape. So, hence how it finds out all these things. And, in typical H.P. Lovecraft fashion, the problem is that, oh, great, now I know about this. And the thing is that the way the uncle died was in mysterious circumstances. So our protagonist here is going, So what's the call on this? Do you need this? No, you don't, because it is verbatim Call of Cthulhu. And for some folks, the beauty of H.P. Lovecraft's work is the fact that it is not super visual. Backtrack, reverse it. Actually, in many ways, it is very visual. His ability to describe settings, buildings, and he talks about the island Raleigh where Cthulhu is imprisoned. This giant monolithic alien the word non-Euclidean geometry is thrown around a lot about describing the structures there. But one of the hallmarks for the work is that something is so horrific they did a description. So some people kind of tend to some fans look at this and go, no, it doesn't work that way. I like it. I'm one of those who, Alien, John Carpenter's The Thing, Mouth of Madness, goes on and on and on and on and on, and it's like, watch the news. Horrors, I mean, yeah, I think there are some things that will make me lose my mind if I saw it, but gotta bring it. And in the case, especially of something like this, you get the sense of scale. You get to see, you get something that's more solidified of what this thing is, how horrific, how maddening. The alien part's an understatement. The fun thing, you look at those videos on YouTube and stuff about, these weird, funky creatures that have been found and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, wow, it's that classic case of, what, truth is stranger than fiction. Lovecraft in some other dimensional plane going, what the heck, guys? So, for me, it's fun to have stuff like this around as another frame of reference. And the fact that, the nice thing about a lot of the versions I've seen are classic comic book form with sequential art. Now that's beautiful. It's wonderful. But what happens is that, unless you want to do a whole bunch of splash pages, you run into issues. As an illustrated version, Behringer is allowed to sidestep, the mundane stuff and focus on the epic stuff, and to really unleash the horror, terror, and madness, which is the hallmarks of H.P. Lovecraft's work. So there you go. All in all, okay, like I said, if you're a Lovecraft fan, you don't need this, okay? It is the story, yada, yada, yada. But if you're looking for some just gorgeous artwork to go with the story, something to add to everything, seriously, it's beautiful. And it's demented, disturbing, mind-bending. You will never look at a trunk or a used bookstore with leather editions the same way again. At least, hoping it's leather, right? Anyway, so there you go. Hey, y'all have a good rest of the weekend. May the force be with you. May the odds be in your favor. And as always, be good to each other. Okay, peeps? Please be good to each other. Peace. Bye.